do it.
So, what do I do?
Just take a seat and imagine yourself on vacation, wherever you want to be.
This is amazing. The beach is so...
Let me set up my computer. Sorry. Okay, now go ahead and imagine yourself on vacation.
This is amazing. The beach is so beautiful, and the water is great.
I can see you there, Anna. A picture of you at the ocean is on my screen. Now imagine yourself somewhere else.
Okay. I've always wanted to go to Africa.
Great choice, Anna. I just hope you don't run into any lions.
No, why'd you say that? Now there are lions everywhere.
Well, Anna, just look on the bright side. You might meet Simba. And besides, at least you aren't with dinosaurs.
No, get me out of here.
Quickly, think of my lab. Think of my lab. Anna, are you okay?
Am I okay? I was almost breakfast for a dinosaur.
I'm sorry, Anna. I forgot to warn you not to get carried away. Would you like to try it again?
No, thank you. I don't want to go on vacation for a very, very long time. I'm going to go home where I know I will not get eaten.
We're going to get up and dance.
No sin to be sin for us. God made him who had no sin to be sin for us, so that in him we might become, so that in him we might become the righteousness of God. 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 God made him who had no sin to be sin for us. God made him who had no sin to be sin for us, so that in him we might become, so that in him we might become the righteousness of God. 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 The righteousness of God.
Thank you all so much. You can sit down, and we're going to go over our 3 days that we've already had. So, on day 1, you did the egg drop in science experiments. You met Noah, who built an ark even though there was no water near him. And you saw that a pencil floated while the egg and jam sank. And our Bible verse for that day from 2 Corinthians 5:21 was God made him who had no sin to be sin for us, so that in him we might become the righteousness of God. And we're learning about faith. On day 2, we learned about almighty power of God. You guys made a tower with spaghetti and mini marshmallows. And you met Deborah, who sat under a palm tree as a judge. And in Sink or Float, we found out that the apple floated, the maple syrup sank, and the sponge floated. And our Bible verse of that day came from John 3:8, and it was, "The wind blows wherever it pleases. You hear its sound, but you cannot tell where it comes from or where it is going. So it is with everyone born of the Spirit." And last night, when we were talking about influence and letting your light shine, you made boats, and then you had to put pebbles and coins and rocks in them, and they sank. And you met Gideon, the shy, meek man who went to battle and won with his trumpet sounds. And in Sink or Float, no matter how the tinfoil was, it always floated. The barbecue sauce, though, sank to the bottom. And the cotton ball also sank? Or did it float? It did sink. And our Bible verse of that day came from Matthew 5:16, and it was, "Let your light shine before others, that they may see your good deeds and glorify your Father in heaven." Today, we're going to talk about temptation. We talked earlier this week about how we all sin, but hiding our sin is harmful to our hearts and to our bodies. Remember, for all have sinned and fallen short of the glory of God. We all do things God doesn't want us to do. And for the wages of sin is death, but gift of God is eternal life in Christ Jesus our Lord. Through our faith in Jesus, our sin is forgiven. After we accept Jesus, we still may sin. But the question is, after we sin, do we confess and tell God about our sin, or do we try to hide it? Sometimes we try to hide our sin. We may even lie to cover up what we did because we're afraid of the consequences. But it just makes it worse. It may make us feel ashamed, but we've all tried this before. Even the first sin, when Adam and Eve ate the apple, they tried to hide their sin and themselves from God. God sees and knows everything, so he already knows about our sin, just like Adam and Eve. So there's no need to try and hide it. There's no need to add on that yucky feeling and lying to others. Sorry, I got all my papers mixed up. King David hid his sin from God and wrote into a psalm, which is an old-time song, and it's today's Bible verse from Psalm 32, verses 3 and 5. "When I kept silent about my sin, my bones wasted away through my groaning all day long. Then I acknowledged my sin to you and did not cover up my iniquity. I said, I will confess my transgressions to the Lord, and you forgave the guilt of my sin." David felt very yucky by hiding his sin, because hiding sin hurts our hearts and our bodies over time. So what we can do that won't hurt our hearts and our bodies is to confess our sins. We might be tempted to hide our sins because we're afraid of the consequences. But when we confess them to God and those around us, God forgives us and restores the strength to our bones. So if you're hiding any sins, sneaking around, using words you know are wrong, hiding things, it's time to confess and come clean. Because the Bible tells us, confess our sins to each other and pray for each other that you might be healed. My bones get weak when I hide my sin. But when I confess my sin, God makes me strong again. Because there is hope in healing when we confess our sins to God. So we're going to teach you a song about temptation. So stand up. And we're going to go, no temptation, and then has overtaken, like wrapping a blanket around or a scarf. Except what is common to mankind. Just swipe everyone out. And God is faithful. He will not let you be tempted. And then beyond what you can bear, you raise the roof and hop back. But when you are tempted, it's a rope pulling you in. We do that a couple times. And then we go, let's shout it out. Nice fist bump. He will also provide a way out. And then it kind of echoes that, so it's guiding the path even more, provide a way out. And then we repeat that. And then it's so you can endure it. So you just step to the side and brush off your shoulder. Because you got this. All right? And then it repeats everything over and over again. Anastasia and I will show you as we do every night. Do you think they got it?
Yeah.
All right.
Temptation has overtaken you, except what is common to mankind. And God is faithful. He will not let you be tempted beyond what you can bear. But when you are tempted, you know what's gonna happen. But when you are tempted, let's shout it out. He will also provide a way out. He will also provide a way out. So that you can endure it, so you can endure it, so you can endure it. No temptation has overtaken you, except what is common to mankind. And God is faithful. He will not let you be tempted beyond what you can bear. But when you are tempted, you know what's gonna happen. But when you are tempted, let's shout it out. He will also provide a way 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 out. So that you can endure it, so you can endure it, so you can endure it, so you can endure it.
thank you again for dancing. You guys can sit back down. As we get started into tonight, I just want to remind you that you can see us and each other, and we got Alchemy Allen in the back who can see you and is helping you in the chats and letting us know some things that are going on with you all. There'll be a few minutes that song will play in between each of the different stations. It'll give you time to get what you need for the next station and clean up from previous stations, but that's the great time to go to the bathroom or get a drink of water and stay hydrated. Also, we've been loving seeing your photos, and please share them with us to our email, fccoevbs2020@gmail.com. Before I do the schedule of the day, though, I realized I forgot something important. And I don't know how, so I apologize, but we got a lot of God sightings last night. So we just got to shout them out on our, you guys are really going to help me and Anesthesia fill up our beaker flask scientific instrument. So thank you. Woohoo! Myra went to the beach and made a sand castle. She also saw her sunflowers are blooming. Myra, I love sunflowers. They're my favorite. So that's really awesome. Rayland got to pick some cucumbers from his own garden that he grew. I know Cylinder Sue also grew some cucumbers in her garden. Evie spotted a baby rabbit on her walk today. She also found an injured dragonfly. Don't worry, though. I was concerned. It was in her pool, but she got it out safe, and she dried it off, and it flew away safely. It was all better. And then she also saw a wasp chasing a spider out of his web. Animals are amazing, and they're such great God sightings. So thank you all for sending those in to us. They're really going to help me and Anesthesia fill with our pom-poms. Okay. Now that that's taken care of, I can't believe I almost forgot all those. Our schedule of the day, as we always do. Up next will be the scientific experiments with Cylinder Sue and eyedropper Debbie. Then you're going to go on another Bible adventure through your time machines. I hope they work better than my imagination vacation. With volumetric Vicky. And then we have 3 new things that may sink or float with Syringe Sarah. And then Anesthesia and I will be back to wrap up at the end of the night.
I know, but that's what popped up. 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 I know, but
provide a way out. He will also provide a way out. He will also provide a way out. So that you can endure it, so you can endure it, so you can endure it, so you can endure it.
No, I think so. Hello there.
Good. Welcome back, everyone. Nice to see you.
I hope you had fun floating different objects in your boat last night to see how much weight they could carry. Thanks for sending us your pictures. I saw people using marbles, coins, glass beads, and even little people. What a great job you guys did. All right, so tonight, here's our nightly shout out. Juju, are you with us today? I hope so. Did you have fun floating your boat? How about Mariah and Evangeline? How much did your boat hold before sinking? What kind of cargo did you use for your boat? And Jane, Ross, Margaret, Charles, and Liam, where did you float all those boats? Did you have to use the tub? How about the sink or a kiddie pool? Keep those pictures and chat messages coming to us.
So today, our engineering task is going to be making your very own bridge, and it will be a colorful one. So we're thinking of different things that a bridge is used for and the places that you can find a bridge. Bridges can be used for things like Travel, yep. And what kind of things go on a bridge or across a bridge? Is it just cars? No, it's trains and people and even animals. And a bridge will also allow things to pass underneath. Animals will pass underneath in a valley. A river can pass underneath.
Right? Boats can pass under.
Yeah, and even other roads.
Oh,
So lots to think about. Engineers have a lot to think about, and they also use different materials to build bridges. Today we're going to use these plastic straws and lots of masking tape. But with your parents' permission or with their help, you can look up different materials that engineers used on your own using the web. So we're also going to, Susan and I are going to use these two chairs to put the bridge across to see if it holds weight. You guys can use 2 stacks of books on a table, or you can also use chairs or whatever else you can find that will put the bridge in between.
Okay. This experiment is more involved, and there are more steps. It would be best if siblings work together to create one bridge for now, and then they can work on additional bridges later after the video. Adults and older siblings can also help with the construction. We will do our best to go slow in order to give you time to complete the steps. You can start, if you haven't already, by cutting some strips of masking tape and then hanging them off the edge of a table or something to make your construction easier. Debbie started hanging some here, and we'll do a little more of that right now. If you haven't already done that, take some time now to cut some strips of masking tape. Let's just do a few more. Lots of masking tape today.
Oh, good.
You want to put some on your thing too?
Straws can be a lot of fun.
No, my dress.
Sorry. Oops.
I would say have at least 10 pieces of masking tape ready. The next thing we're going to be doing is creating some bundles. So if you're done making your pieces of masking tape, you can start collecting bundles of 5 straws.
We kind of color coordinated ours, but you can make yours any colors that you want. You can mix up the colors to however you want it to make it yours.
So we are right here now.
Okay. Yep. So here's 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I have 5 straws, and I'm going to try to make the bendy things opposite to keep it stronger. So there's the part that bends. So I'm just going to do it opposite sides.
We will be putting masking tape around them, so that
It will
should
help,
help.
yeah.
But if you do every other one, that would probably be helpful.
But not to worry if it's not exactly. Okay.
So-
So
So here you might need some help. I'm going to hold the tape down while Debbie puts the 5 pieces of masking tape, the 5 straws on top of the masking tape.
oops. Oh, do we want it all the way on the end? Yes, yeah. Can't remember.
This one.
So on this one, we put it on the end, but you can probably leave a little space. I'll show, we'll do it the next one. So we're going to do the other side, and we'll leave a little space. Yeah. I can't remember, but I think we needed it to cut. Okay. So here is a bundle of 5. And so we'll need to do 2 more of these, and you guys will need to have,
Well, hold
yeah.
on.
How are we
Actually, you're going to make 9 bundles.
of these.
And-
So we'll give you time to
So
make
we're going to
9
give you
of
a little
these.
time to make 9 bundles. For those of you who can do multiplication, what's 9 times 5? How many straws do you need?
All right, so we need to make 2 more too.
And then, Alan, if you want to put up the first slide, that would be good. So we need to make...
Opposite, 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 okay.
We've already pre-made some of our bundles, so we're going to go ahead now and make the rest of the bundles that we need.
But take your time, we'll go slow.
They need 9 of these bundles. Anybody figure out how many straws you need yet? What's 9 times 5? I know it's summer. I know.
Oops. It's not like the
That one's a real long one. You want a shorter piece?
yeah, it's not exactly straight, but that's okay.
That's all right.
Oops, wait a minute. Kind of on the end, I think we need to use space. I can't remember.
Well, I think you did. We have 1, 2. We need 1 more bundle. Great. Now you can understand why we said maybe just build 1 together if you have siblings, and then later on, once you know the process, then you can help each other build more.
We're trying to get the bendies opposite here. Oh, all right. Maybe I'll start this, oh, they're both there, okay. All right.
Is this too short, this one?
Oops. See, I keep doing that. I think we need a little bit of space. 'Cause I don't know if they're doing it with the, okay.
So,
So we're kind of leaving a little bit of space at the end.
This one's too short. Too short.
Perfect.
Okay, so we've made our our last bundle with our 5 straws. So we now have a total of 9 bundles. So when you have a total of 9 bundles of 5, give Mr. Bell a thumbs up so we know that you're ready to move on. So you're just making your bundles of 5 right now. So we're here next, right?
So we need one side. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8. 1, 2,
We need these. How's everybody doing? Making some progress?
It takes time, no worries. They're not as straight as they were.
That's all right. Yeah, some of ours aren't completely straight. That's okay. We'll work it out. We'll figure it out. 5? Oh, if you can show Mr. Bell how many bundles you have with a show of fingers. So for instance, if you have 4 bundles made, put 4 fingers up. So we know where you are in the process. If you have 6 bundles, you can put up 6 fingers. Yeah, they're doing a good job. You guys are making progress. So maybe they're done. All right. Raylan and Myra, can you put your fingers up and show us how many bundles you've made?
Good job, Evie. You got 5.
They have 3. Yeah. Myra and Raven have 5. I have 4. Sorry.
Oh, good, good.
Gabriella, can't see how many she has.
But we're making progress. So we're going to be taking up a little extra time for this experiment, Mrs. Archer. I hope that's okay.
That's okay.
Okay.
We've got time.
That's what I figured.
We've got time.
So, Miss Susan, what
Yes.
kind of materials do you think would be used to make bridges?
Well, stones were used to make bridges. I know that.
Yep. There's a lot of wooden bridges in New Hampshire.
Wooden bridges, yes. There's some really pretty wooden bridges in New Hampshire.
Yeah, a lot of them. And some of them are covered, and
Yes.
some are not. I
Some,
think the really fun bridges are the ones that are made from rope.
yes. We went across a very scary rope bridge when we were in Ireland. That was exciting.
Wow.
My boys thought it was fun to shake the rope
Oh.
while
While
their
Mom
mom was
on
walking
it?
by. Yes. Yes.
And, yeah.
Well, we have bridges made of metal and cables too. How about
Yep,
the bridge in
cables.
Boston? Think of that one.
And some bridges, like over the highways, are just made of cement. I
Cement
think.
and metal.
Yeah, and metal. And
Or you can make them out of straws. You may not want to go over it, but maybe your little people from your boat last night, they could go over your bridge.
yes. Yeah.
Oh, yes.
That's right.
Some bridges.
Oh, good. All right.
Okay. Great. Leah and Gwen, how many bundles do you have? Show with your fingers. Woo!
Oh,
They got an extra.
good.
Okay. Nice. You guys are doing great. Now you should have an advantage. You got a lot of people working on this.
So let's.
Unfortunately, your big sister's
tape over
here.
there. I'll put some over here just in case.
All right, I think we're going to take one more minute and then we'll go on to the next step after Debbie gets some more tape.
Yep, they can probably get, let's see. 12. At least 12 more pieces they'll need for now.
The next set of pieces should be a little longer. Because
I don't think quite that big.
Yeah.
It's about 6?
It's
Okay.
probably even more than 6 inches.
That one is.
This
That
is
one's
probably
pretty
8
long.
inches.
Yeah. That one's probably
Yeah.
a little
Yeah.
long, but
But a little bigger because you're going to be lashing these together, so you need something a little longer. Great.
Yep.
Mr. Bell has been a great help because he's giving me suggestions about how to help you. So he had me take pictures, and he's posting them up so you can see
okay,
what it
that's
looks
right.
like.
good.
All right, where are we, Deb?
Okay. So
Okay, so they're lashing.
next, we're going to connect these lashed bundles to make the bridge, and we'll show you how we're going to do that.
So the
So they're not gonna-
final
yeah.
product is going to look like this.
So they're not going to be even. They're going to be uneven.
And the reason we tape them together this way is to make it stronger. If we tape them all together evenly,
They would
the bridge
probably-
would not be as strong.
Bend. All right, so we need a big piece of tape underneath.
So I'm going to lay the tape down for Debbie, and she's going to tape 3 bundles together.
One up, I think, like that. I think that's about right? And then one down.
I
I would
put it a little higher, a little bit more.
This is the one we're going to cut.
Okay.
Like that. You did this at home, so like that.
Well, let's do this one. So that one has a little bit of,
Okay.
there we go.
We practiced this a little bit, but Susan and her family practiced it a little bit more. Okay. So now there's a tape across these 3 at the top. Now we got to flip it and do the other side, because these are still flimsy. And
And I don't want to fall off the bridge.
right there.
Okay.
Okay. So take your time, but when you have your 3 pieces like that,
We'll be ready to move on.
yeah.
So that's your next step. You should have 3 bundles of 3 left at the end.
Tell them to give me a thumbs up when they have those bundles ready.
When you have your 3 bundles of 3 ready, give us a thumbs up so we know to move on. Mr. Bell is watching. Wow.
Good job.
Oh, so the next thing we need to do is cut this off.
Yeah.
and then-
So we're going to
I
cut that
did
one,
need a
right?
skizzles.
Oh. So you're going to cut that, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
At least one done, I know that.
Good.
Maybe 2. Oh, I think 2 done.
Oh, good.
Awesome.
Me and Gwen might have all 3 done.
We have some great bridge builders. Boy, you're faster than we are. It took us a long time to do the first one. How you doing, Evie?
Thumbs up? Double
Nice.
thumb? No triple thumbs?
So we can move. Should we move on or no?
So,
Lash them first and then we'll cut them, I
like,
think.
here's their names. That was the thing.
Yeah, I think this is Evie.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Great.
Those of you who done, or if you're done, you can probably get a few more pieces of tape that we're going to be
Ready.
needing for the trusses afterwards.
Good idea.
So,
Evie's done? Okay. Do we have Jaden and Jeremiah today or no?
Hannah and Violet?
Oh, yeah, Violet? No? Okay. Okay. Gabriella's there, right? Gabriella's.
I know we have Hannah and Violet because I got pictures already.
Okay, great.
Yay! Thank you, Hannah and Violet. We can't wait to see your pictures.
Oh, because Jessica was asking whether we're getting our pictures.
Yes. We are getting your pictures. Yes, we got your pictures.
All right, so
All right, so I think we will go to the next step,
Okay.
which is actually not cutting this off. It's putting them all together. That was my bad.
oh,
We have to
okay.
put these together first and then cut that last one off.
Whoops, are they too long?
That one's a little too long. That's all right. We can fix anything. All right, so we have a little space, and that's okay. We'll just put tape
Okay.
on there.
Um,
So the next step is to take your 3 bundles, and we're going to put them together, and now we're going to start making the bridge. Now, we're going to put them together, and we're going to, put masking tape on them. And they might not match up exactly. You can see we have a little hole, and that's okay. We'll
yeah.
just put masking tape over it, and everything will be fine.
you got longer
Lots of
pieces.
masking tape.
Yep. Oh, do it at the top. That would be probably better to do it that way.
I don't know if I have a picture of this. Yeah. Another piece up there. 2. I'm going to put 2 pieces there.
Yeah, there's a little bit of a hole for ours, so we're going to put 2 pieces to cover that. You
So
do want to
see that we covered the hole, and now we're going to put another piece across here to hold it nice and tight. What were you going to say? You do want to what?
you want to try to leave some places because the trusses are going to go in between the straw when we get ready for the trusses. So we're going to leave some spaces. If you don't, maybe you have some
Sure.
scissors ready in case we just need to cut through the tape.
How's that? Do we need more?
No, I don't think so.
All right, let me put this one down here. Oh, that's way.
So I think we can cut the tip off of that. So this one was really long, so. No, good. Huh. We're going to cut the edge off of this because it's a little bit long. So let's cut this off just like about, yeah.
Snowflakes? Cotton balls from left over from the other day, maybe?
There we go.
All right, I'm out of tape.
Oh,
So now we're putting the 3rd bundle onto our bridge. Just using tape. They're not matching up evenly. We're just covering them up with tape so they stay together. No big deal.
I think that's okay. Maybe one more.
Maybe one.
And I
No,
think I'm going to
maybe
have to
over
rip
here.
some more tape.
Where's the tape? I'll do that. Maybe here, Dan.
Oh, yeah.
But that's okay. We want it to be a little weak right now. All right, we're almost ready to do our first test.
Make sure you give us a thumbs up when you have your 3 bundles taped together.
There's one more step before we test.
And then you have a little end sticking out. And then this part is empty.
I gotta go get my phone. I left it over there.
You can even hold it up if you want. Okay.
Okay. I don't think your bridge is going to hold the cat.
So, let's see. Now watch how we cut off the end here.
And then we're going to add it to the other side.
So
We want our bridge to
this'll
be
flat,
even.
and we're going to just tape it on the side. Lots of tape.
Everybody's ready? You guys are faster than we are. Uh-oh.
Okay.
Does your cat like masking tape? We used to put it on the bottom of the cat's foot. Okay. Now I think we're ready to test it as is. Are you ready to test yours? Let's give it a try. Oh, you can't see that? Oh, sorry. Okay. Okay, I'm going to put my phone on there and see if it will hold my phone.
It's going down.
Not very strong, is it?
It's kind of, yeah, very.
Not a bridge I would want to walk on. This reminds me of my life without God. Without God's love, I am weak. When I'm tempted to do things on my own, I fail.
We need to strengthen our bridge by adding trusses. So we don't want it to be weak. So we need to strengthen it.
These are our trusses. We're going to build 2 of these. We'll show you how.
Okay, put this aside. All right, now this, I didn't do this part.
Okay.
So here's, and do we need to tape up the bendy?
Yes. So what I did, oh, sorry. What I did, because these straws are bendy straws, and we want our trusses to be strong, I just closed that accordion piece up, and then I put a little piece of masking tape around it just to make it a little stronger. And then I also thought, well, maybe it would be better if I put those pieces up here. So you can try it either way, but I would suggest putting some masking tape on that bendy spot to strengthen it up a little bit.
So go ahead and tape, rip off a bunch of littler ones for the bendy parts.
You are going to need 12 straws wrapped up. So 6 for each side.
At least, maybe 8.
Oh, yes. Well, we'll get the V's. We'll get these
We'll get the
parts
V's
done
first. Want some? So we're doing just taping up the V's?
So we're just going to tape up those little bendy spots. A scientific term. Give us a thumbs up once you have all your little bendies taped up.
So we're going to need 6, 7, 8. 8 straws for each truss.
Yep.
3, 4, 5, 6, 7. One more.
I forgot about the top, so you need 8 straws for each side, which is 16.
Here we go.
And then I think the next picture is of this.
Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. How did I miss one? Okay, right here.
Oh, well, I have these, so you don't need them. I have
Oh,
one,
oh, yeah,
two.
okay.
How are we looking? Can we move on?
Some people are getting cakes. Myra and Raylan are still making some things.
Okay.
I would set time limits on things because it's going to be very, very long.
And we need it smaller. It's supposed to be 3 feet long. All right, we are going to start building the trusses. Mr. Bell will put up some pictures to help you follow along.
The trusses remind me of God's strength. When we rely on God, we are stronger. Can you think of a time when you relied on God?
I was just thinking about a time when I relied on God. Sometimes, if somebody's mean to me and it makes me angry, I'm tempted to be mean back, right? To get back at them. But if I rely on God's strength, I can take a deep breath, and then I can be kinder, and I can make the situation better
And show God's love.
and show God's love.
Very nice.
All right. So we're going to take 2 straws, and we're going to cross them at the top. And we're going to stick them onto, you probably can't hear me. And we're going to stick them onto the masking tape. Now at this point, you can squish them on the top, and then you can fold the masking tape around it to make it easier.
Just like this?
Yep. And when you're done, it should look like this. We need to make one more. You need to make a total of 6 V's for Vicky. We need to make one
piece of
more.
tape.
That big enough? Is that one big enough? Yeah. Okay.
Cross it at the top, right?
Squish it down. Squish it down.
When you have 6 of these, give us a thumbs up.
Oh my goodness, you guys are so good at this. So once you have 3, awesome.
Oops.
Once you have 3, you can take another straw and start attaching them. You can just fold the tape across the top to attach them. We'll show you how to do one now.
Okay, so it goes like
Yep, so we put
this?
one here.
I used all the
Yeah.
tape.
I'll put a tape underneath and fold it over.
So the straw goes kind of on top, and then you can fold the tape over it.
Yep. And I think we have a picture to help you.
All right.
We are almost there. Almost. I'm gonna put that there.
Like that?
Yep. So we're close. We're close to being finished.
And one more.
Does this look like a bridge to you, or a part of a bridge that you've seen before?
Okay, so I just pinched the last one on. So give us a thumbs up when you have 2 of these.
I'm gonna reach over here. Do you wanna- I know they look like little people. Then we are going to attach the trusses to our bridge to strengthen it up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. You will need 12 little pieces of tape for this activity. I got 2.
Are these ones like medium sized?
Yeah, they don't need to be very
Not
big.
too big, because it's just folding them through the top.
I've got 6 here. So we need 6 more. All right. While Debbie gets the rest of our tape, I'm going to show you how to attach your trusses. You're going to try and stick these straws through the other straws on your bridge. Okay? Mr. Bell has a picture that he can show you. This is a little tricky. It's okay. Take your time. Get some help if you need to. I'm probably going to ask Miss Debbie to help me.
Leave some space at the end, because it's going to need to sit on the chair. Want to bring that one in?
Oh, yeah, I can.
So it has room on the chair.
Stick this one.
Yeah. 'Cause last time we didn't have a lot of room.
One popped out.
Little tricky. Okay.
All right. So we have,
They're sticking up from underneath.
now we're just going to fold them over a little bit and tape them on. Just like that. And they might pop out while you're doing this. That's okay. Just stick it back in and try again. See, this one's trying to sneak out.
Got it? Okay.
All right. That's
a lot of
one done. Now time for the other side. And then we'll get a chance to test our bridge.
Thumbs up. Do you guys have one side done?
Who thinks this bridge is going to be stronger?
All right, so we'll start
Go ahead and start
pushing
pushing those through.
through. I'll try to match it up to the other side if I can. That goes way over here. This is a tricky one tonight.
Yes. Awesome.
And 2 more.
Yeah, you should be good.
1. Oh. Oh, that one fell out.
That was my bad. Sorry.
No,
I
it's
made
all
it
right. Not at all. There we go. So they're all sticking up. Just got to fold them over and tape them down. Might be a bit of a bumpy bridge. Although some bridges really are bumpy anyway.
Yeah.
Especially the ones that open too.
True.
Gloucester has one that opens. I'm sure you got stuck behind that once or twice. Okay.
Phew.
Wow.
Bridge building is tiring business.
You guys, if you finish this, you all deserve an award because this was a lot of work tonight.
That's quite an accomplishment. Well,
Are we ready?
time to test our bridge. All right.
right.
Who thinks it's going to hold more weight?
I'll go around. Are we good?
Okay. Give me this one. All right, here we go.
It's hanging on the end.
Ta-da! The trusses are load bearing, which means that helps them hold more weight.
Just like God, he can carry us and make our load lighter.
So remember to take pictures of your bridge and send them in and let us know how you did. Thank you. You
We'd
guys
love to
did a
see it.
great job tonight.
Thank you. Good job, guys.
No temptation has overtaken you
Does anyone want the straws?
except what is common to mankind. And God is faithful. He will not let you be tempted beyond what you can bear. When you are tempted, you know what's gonna happen. But when you are tempted, let's shout it out. He will also provide a way out. He will also provide a way out. So that you can endure it, so you can endure it, so you can endure it. No temptation has overtaken you except what is common to mankind. And God is faithful. He will not let you be tempted beyond what you can bear. When you are tempted, you know what's gonna happen. But when you are tempted, let's shout it out. He will also provide a way 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 out. So that you can endure it, so you can endure it, so you can endure it, so you can endure it.
Well, hi there, and welcome back to Bible Faith Adventures. It's so good to be with you again. Let's do a quick review before we meet the next person who had faith in God. Remember that faith is knowing that something is true, even if you can't see it. We've talked about oxygen, but there are other things. How about gravity? You know it has to be there. The great scientist, Sir Isaac Newton, figured it out hundreds of years ago, but you can't see it. You can only see what it does. You know that if you let go of a brick, it will fall to the ground. And it doesn't even have to be something that's really heavy. I'm going to let go of these two little feathers, and you know it's going to happen to them too, because gravity pulls them down too. You can't see it. Gravity is real. You can't see it, but you can see what it does, and you can rely on it to always be there. God is like that. I have faith in God even though I can't see him. I see what he does every day. All my life, he has given me good times and helped me through the bad times. I know he is there. That's faith. Well, so far we've met 3 Bible people of faith. On day 1, we met Noah, the man who had enough faith in God to obey his instructions even when it seemed ridiculous. Build a huge boat and fill it with animals. Are you kidding me? But Noah had enough faith to obey God no matter what, and he and his family and all those animals were saved from the great flood. On day 2, we met Deborah, the woman whose name means, do you remember? Her name means bee. She was a judge and a prophetess living in a time when women were not supposed to speak up in public. But God doesn't care about being male or female, rich or poor, black, brown, or white. God used her faith to inspire Barak to lead the Israelites to a great victory over their enemies. And speaking of great victories over enemies, don't forget yesterday's story of Gideon, who thought he was a nobody. In fact, his faith was pretty weak, and he kept asking God for a sign that God was really talking to him. But finally, he mustered up enough faith to obey God, and he won a great victory with trumpets and breaking jars and shouts of, "For the Lord and for Gideon," and with only 300 men. That's one of my favorite Old Testament stories. Today we move from the Old Testament to the New Testament. You probably already know that the Bible is divided into 2 parts, the Old Testament and the New Testament. In the Bible I have here tonight, all of this side is the Old Testament, and all of this side is the New Testament. All of the stories we've had so far come from the Old Testament part. But tonight, because the Old Testament tells about God dealing with his people, the Israelites. But God is also getting ready to show his wonderful plan for all people, a plan to save all of us from being separated from God forever. That plan is revealed to us in the New Testament. It tells the story of Jesus, the Son of God, his life on earth, and the people who believed in him and spread the word about his life and death and resurrection. The first 4 books of the New Testament are called the Gospels. They all tell about Jesus' life and the things he did. Today's story of faith is found in 3 of those Gospels, in Matthew, Mark, and Luke. The woman in the story is not named, but that doesn't matter because she's been remembered for 2,000 years for her faith in Jesus. It's time to get in that time machine again. I didn't want to make a scene. I didn't want to bother the great teacher. He was on his way to heal a little girl. One of our leaders had a very sick daughter, only 12 years old. He asked the great teacher, Jesus is his name, to help his little girl. Jesus has been going all over the area preaching and teaching the most remarkable things. He says God loves every human being. He says God doesn't care if someone is a man, a woman, or a child, or if someone's skin is dark or light, or even if someone is a tax collector or a lowly beggar, or the most important leader in our synagogue. He says we should treat everyone the way we want to be treated. He says we need to confess the things we do wrong, our sins, and change the way we act to be more loving and understanding to everyone around us. Do you know what a wonderful world that would be if everyone truly cared about everyone else just as much as they cared about themselves? I sure do wish people would treat me with kindness and compassion. You see, I am very sick, and I have been for a very long time, 12 years to be exact. My name doesn't matter. What does matter is that no one wants to have anything to do with me. They think my illness makes me unclean, and if they touch me, they will be unclean too. They won't even touch anything I touch, like a chair or a bowl. I never get hugged, or even a handshake or a pat on my shoulder from any of my family. And I don't have any friends. I am not even supposed to go out in public. I have been in quarantine for 12 years. I was a fairly wealthy woman, but when I got sick, I began to spend my money on doctors looking for a cure. I hear that in your day there are wonderful doctors and scientists who have worked very hard and studied the way God created our bodies and how they work, and they've learned to cure a lot of diseases. But it's not like that in Bible times. We don't have medicines to cure diseases. We do have doctors, but they don't know so much about how our bodies work. Some of them really tried to help me, but they were just not successful. Others were thieves who took my money but never even tried to help me. I got worse and worse. You can probably guess that after 12 years of that, my money is gone. Now I am poor and very sick. But I began hearing about this man, Jesus. Not only was he teaching the wonderful things I told you about, but he was also working incredible miracles. I heard he once turned water into wine so that a wedding celebration would not be ruined. And he calmed a stormy sea that was about to toss a boat and drown his friends. But the best stories I've heard are about the sick people he has healed. There are lepers who weren't even allowed to live with their own families, but Jesus cured them and they have good lives now. There were blind people who can now see this beautiful world and all the people they love because of Jesus. There are lame people. Some had been unable to walk since they were born, and now they leap with joy because Jesus healed them. I desperately wanted to be one of those people. I was tired, just plain worn out, and so very lonely. This Jesus has power, more power than we have ever seen. I've heard some people say he is the Messiah, the Son of God, for whom our people have been waiting for centuries. You know, I believe that. I know his power comes from God. I know he can heal me. But I was so scared. I'm not supposed to be out in public. People will yell at me or even hurt me or try to have me arrested. And what if he ignores me or sends me away? But I was so desperate. This was my last hope for a cure. So I came up with a plan. If I could just make my way quietly through the crowd, if I could just get close enough to touch the bottom of his robe, I wouldn't have to speak to him at all. Just touch his robe. And I believed I could be healed. So I did. I put my veil over my face and prayed that no one would recognize me. The crowd was very large, and no one was paying any attention to me. They all wanted to see if Jesus could save that little girl. It worked. No one stopped me. I got next to Jesus, and I bent down. I reached out, I stretched my hand as far as I could. Would I be able to touch the hem of his robe? It seemed just out of my reach, but I inched just a bit closer, and there, I touched the hem of Jesus' robe. Instantly, I felt perfectly well. After 12 long years, no more pain, no more tiredness, no more suffering. Now, if I could just get away and get home before anyone recognized me and called the authorities. But Jesus immediately knew that something had happened. He asked, "Who touched my clothes?" I was terrified. He was going to be angry with me, even have me arrested. His disciples told him it was just the crowd jostling up against him. There were so many people there. But he knew it was more than that. He said, "Someone touched me. I know that power has gone out from me." I knew I was busted, so I fell at his feet. I was trembling with fear, but I told him the truth, the whole long, sad story, 12 years of pain, 12 years of hoping the next doctor could help me, 12 years of rejection and loneliness. But there was nothing but love and compassion in his face. He said the most extraordinary thing to me. He said, "Daughter, your faith has healed you. Go in peace and be free from your suffering." My faith healed me. 12 years of doctors and my entire fortune had not healed me. But because I believed in the power of Jesus, I was healed. I could not see that power. I could not touch it or hear it. I only knew that it was there because I had heard all about the miracles Jesus had done. And I knew Jesus was the answer to all my problems. And I was right. Oh, and by the way, that little 12-year-old girl, everyone thought she was dead, but Jesus healed her too. Faith in Jesus. Now that is real power. Well, back we come to 2020. I hope you enjoyed today's faith story as much as I enjoyed telling it to you. That woman had so much faith in Jesus that she didn't even have to speak to him. In fact, she was afraid to speak to him, but just a slight touch of his robe of his robe showed how much faith she had. I hope and pray we can all have that kind of faith. See you tomorrow.
No temptation has overtaken you except what is common to mankind. And God is faithful. He will not let you be tempted beyond what you can bear. But when you are tempted, you know what's gonna happen. But when you are tempted, let's shout it out. He will also provide a way out. He will also provide beyond what you can bear. But when you are tempted, you know what's gonna happen. But when you are tempted, let's shout it out. He will also provide a way 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 out. So that you can endure it, so you can endure it, so you can endure it, so you can endure it.
Hello, everybody. It's actually hard to believe that VBS is almost over. So tonight we have a quarter, a tennis ball, and orange soda. So tonight we're talking about temptation, and you can be tempted by a lot of things. Some people get tempted by money. Some people get tempted by sugar. And some people even get tempted by sports. So we're gonna drop our temptations into the bowl and see what happens with them. So I think we're gonna start with the tennis ball. And the tennis ball, although it's solid in form, it's actually, the inside is hollow, so it's kind of light. So if you think it's gonna sink, sit down, and if you think it's gonna float, stand up. It floated. So all of you who stood, you got it right. Woo! All right, so we're gonna do the quarter next. Ready, everybody? Here we go. Well, that was a quick sink. All right. And now, one of my favorites, orange soda. It kind of mixed with the water. So. No, it kind of just congealed with them. Yeah, mixed in. Yeah, I think so. So again, that one sunk. So join us tomorrow night, and it will be our last night. It's hard to believe we're already there. And we'll have 3 new items. All right.
mankind. And God is faithful. He will not let you be tempted beyond what you can bear. When you are tempted, you know it's gonna happen. But when you are tempted, let's shout it out. He will also provide a way out. He will also provide a way out. So that you can endure it, so you can endure it, so you can endure it. No temptation has overtaken you except what is coming to mankind. And God is faithful. He will not let you be tempted beyond what you can bear. When you are tempted, you know it's gonna happen. But when you are tempted, let's shout it out. He will also provide a way 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 out. So that you can endure it, so you can endure it, so you can endure it, so you can endure it.
Welcome to the wrap up with Anastasia and myself. I do recognize that it is almost 8 o'clock, and we apologize, but we've been having such great fun. So if you can just hold on for about 10 more minutes, let's stand up and we're going to dance.
No temptation has overtaken you except what is coming to mankind. And God is faithful. He will not let you be tempted beyond what you can bear. When you are tempted, you know it's gonna happen. But when you are tempted, let's shout it out. He will also provide a way out. He will also provide a way out. So that you can endure it, so you can endure it, so you can endure it. No temptation has overtaken you except what is coming to mankind. And God is faithful. He will not let you be tempted beyond what you can bear. When you are tempted, you know it's gonna happen. But when you are tempted, let's shout it out. He will also provide a way out. He will also provide a way out. He will also provide
Thank you all so much. So today we're talking about temptation, and you guys built a bridge that had some trellises to remind us, trusses. See, not an architect either. They have some trusses to remind us that God gives us strength when we confess our sins. I'm gonna tie it back. And with Volumetric Vicky, you met a woman who didn't have a name, but she was ill for 12 years until she touched Jesus' robes, and that made her better through her faith. And in Sink or Float with Syringe Sarah, you saw that the orange soda and the quarter sank to the bottom, but the tennis ball floated along top. And our Bible verse comes from Psalm 32, verses 3 and 5. When I kept silent about my sin, my bones wasted away through my groaning all day long. Then I acknowledged my sin to you and did not cover up my iniquity. I said, I will confess my transgressions to the Lord, and you forgave the guilt of my sin. Now, as we wrap up tonight, I just want to remind you to keep sending those God sightings. Our Beaker Flask scientific instrument, it's getting pretty full and pretty heavy, which is really awesome. So please help us top it off, and maybe it'll even overflow. We don't know. Who knows what will happen? But please keep sending those in to fccoevbs2020@gmail.com. Also, we're still collecting money for Family Promise, helping the homeless families of the North Shore, because normally we're able to house them in our churches, but we're not able to in order to keep everyone safe. Any pictures you took tonight or any videos, please share them with our email. Not only do we love to see them, but we are figuring out a way to make a slideshow to share with all of you. And if you have any prayer requests, we all keep you in prayer. And also, I know you all got an email that we forgot to print something off and deliver it in the kits last Saturday. It's my forgetfulness. So if you have time to print off that sheet before tomorrow night, it would be great. If not, don't worry about it, and you can do it another time. It's not a big deal if you don't have it for tomorrow. On that note, we are going to pray, so if you can just be still for a moment, quiet, close your eyes, maybe fold your hands with us, and we're going to close in prayer. Dear God, thank you for all these children that have gathered with us throughout this week from far and near, and we have learned and grown our faith in you. Please help us not be tempted to hide our sins and to confess to you and others the wrongdoings we have, because in and through that confession, we're able to gain strength from you, and we can shine our light brighter for those around us. I pray that as we get closer to our week ending, our faith keeps growing and keeps shining through all of us. In your name we pray, amen. Have a good night, and we'll see you tomorrow at 6:30.
Made him who had no sin to be sin for us. God made him who had no sin to be sin for us, so that in him we might become, the righteousness of God. 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 The righteousness us. God made him who had no sin to be sin for us, so that in him we might become, so that in him we might become the righteousness of God. The righteousness of God. The righteousness of God. The righteousness